Welcome back to the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine with coverage brought to you by Hooked on Driving. Today, we have the pleasure to sit down with Officer Ramathorn from Super Troopers, otherwise known as James Hodges. And James, why don't you tell us who you're with today, more importantly, who's missing and what you're driving?
Great. So I'm here with Jesus and filling in as Jesus' stunt double, Mr. Sharkey. Goes perfectly with the Killer Whale theme, which brings me to what we're driving. Our 2018 Chevy Camaro ZL1. This will be the fourth year I've entered the same car. It's starting to show its age, and I'm starting to pay the price for that. But that is what you got to this year for us. Is Jesus and I, the dynamic duo. And we'll keep doing our thing, right, Jesus? Right. Good.
Excellent. So, obvious question, Meg. So you've got at the speed of Orca, and you have a lot of black and white. But your car seems to have changed from the Killer Whale to now it's just gray. What happened?
Yeah. The stickers are coming.
Okay.
That's what you're referring to, right? Yes. I started peeling them, but if you look closely, you can see all the adhesive. So they're still there in spirit, but just not there in
The
current
ghost
reality.
of the Orca.
Yeah, and it was one of those like I'm gonna prepare this year. I'm gonna get ahead, and I didn't. So I'm probably gonna leave it as is, and then reupholster it with the new swag that we get here in a couple days.
Nice. Before you go, you know what I just noticed? He is Ramathorn. He's got a ram right in back of him.
That's right.
Oh, there we go.
That is perfect.
Is there a rod anywhere so they could be Team Ramrod?
It's in a liter of cola.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh,
So,
I'm gonna give me a liter cola.
all right, Bryan. After you're done laughing, go for it. If you guys can't tell, we've known each other for quite some time.
too long.
Very, yeah,
Oh.
probably. But it's I'll tell you before you go now, since
Okay.
you screwed the pooch on that one.
Yeah.
But no, we in all seriousness, these guys are one of the most fun teams you could be around. Um, they do not take anything seriously, similar to us, unless it matters. If there's a problem or if somebody needs help, these are the guys you want because while we make light about a lot of things, when it gets down to the business of getting on track and or taking care of something, these are the guys you want. So these really are sort of your best friends on the road. So with that being said, and you've caught your breath, go for it, Bryan.
So, okay, so this is the fourth year with this car. How many overall have you done now?
I'm going into my sixth year.
Okay. So with your wonderful career, how do some of the people that you work with, how do they react to your side job or your motorsports career? Because you get to play with some pretty high technology, some cutting edge stuff.
So they don't know fully what to think of it. A lot of them think I'm crazy. A lot of them say it's cool. Every new boss I get, I introduce myself with, "Hi, I'm James. I like cars. I drive fast." And every May, I'm going to take, and I say I'm going to take a week and a half off to go do this one lap thing. Cool. Sign here. Nice to work with you. Let's go.
Why didn't that work when you had to go to the desert for a year?
Yeah, that one I tried to get out of it. I thought about moving my R&R time frame during one lap, but my beautiful wife said, if you want to stay married, you will give the R&R time to me, not to one lap. So, I was conflicted, but I made the right decision. And
he is the boss.
You guys gave me lots of shout outs, so it felt like I was there. And for that, I am truly appreciative because that was cool watching it that year.
Absolutely. And so, but we should let everybody know what your day job actually is because it is pretty cool. So
It's very cool.
we've talked a lot about the one lap with everybody, and this is going to air the day the one lap starts on Friday.
Cool.
So we're already going to know what the one lap is, and we've talked that. So why don't you tell us what your day job is? Because you're really interesting as a person, even though you have a very weird mustache.
So my day job right now is aircraft maintenance, and I manage the E4B Doomsday plane, as it's affectionately called. And basically, think of it as a flying pentagon. I can't go into too many details, but it's a flying pentagon, and on the worst days of days, this is the plane that's up there flying, conducting other operations and retaliatory stuff as needed. But it's a flying pentagon that's got a lot of high vis watching it, and so I get the privilege of managing this 50-year-old 747 that doesn't have enough parts, and it keeps me really busy. But I do love it. I get to see a lot of cool stuff. We travel a lot of cool places all over the world, and for that, I am very grateful for that.
So how does that work? So does that plane follow along with Air Force? So I mean, how does that whole thing work?
It does its thing. It is tied to, it isn't tied to anything specific, but it goes overseas as needed.
Okay.
And we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well,
I got lucky enough to see it one time. I was driving past Shaw Air Force Base and saw it sitting on the tarmac. And the first thing I do is message James. I said, "Dude, your bird's at Shaw." And he goes, "Yeah, I know."
I have you on radar.
Yeah, I'm watching you drive right now. Yeah, we used to hang out with Shaw as one of our locations that we'd sit watch, and everyone liked going to Shaw for a little bit, but it was a different place. But yeah,
Sumter sucks.
Yeah, I was born there. Now,
so. Right.
So James, how many years have you now been in the Air Force?
I'm coming up on 19 years this fall.
Wow.
So they own me.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we thank you for everything you do there, and for for all of your contributions for us. So this way we can do what you join us for every May, right? So getting back to the one lap, what are you, and feel free to speak for your co-driver, what are you looking forward to most about this year? What tracks, what experiences? Because obviously you keep coming back. You're a creature of habit, and as the mustache grows, what are you looking forward to this year?
So I'm looking, as far as tracks goes, I really enjoyed Road Atlanta. So I'm excited to get back there. I think the last 2 years we've driven by it, like, and waved, but we haven't driven on it. So it'd be nice to get back to it. Next part is just, I won't say redemption, but the end of last year's one lap, we started having suspension issues, and that caused us to wave off the last event. And so the goal is to then make it through this entire event, baby steps. Your first goal of one lap is one must finish. So we're going for that. And then from there, it's seeing the family, seeing you guys, seeing Brock, seeing everybody else. It's like the best summer camp one can have. And, despite everything that happens, it's cool to be back there and just be in, amongst the new folks, especially the new lap pups. I'm bringing a lap pup with us, Kevin Walsh. He'll be driving a GT 500, and I've been talking to him ad nauseum the last couple of years about doing it. So excited to bring him with us.
And he just got on the list because he was on the wait list. And this is interesting because you bring up a really good point. So talking about getting ready, you had time to put your decals on. He literally found out 3 days ago that he made it off the wait list and was going to be in it now. And he needed a co-driver. So we put the APB out there. Yeah. So it can change that quickly.
Yes, it can.
Mm-hmm. That's what you stay ready. Even if you're on the wait list, you go all the way up until literally the day of, and then you're like, okay, I guess it's not happening. But any other time before that, it's all fair game at that point.
Yeah. And it is the embodiment of motorsport, isn't it? Hurry up and wait.
Yep.
That's really what we're good at. Awesome. Go ahead, Bryan.
What was I gonna? Oh,
I don't know.
It's been so long since I've seen James. I'm just so happy.
I see.
Hey, Zeus. Yes, me too.
Actually, you guys match.
Yeah, we do.
So
what tires are you running this year?
Again, like Solomon said, creature of habit. The PS4s. I really want to try something different, but like every year, I'm like, ugh, I know what I'm getting. I know they'll make it, especially on the rainy transits. That's where they make their money. Michelin again.
Next year, hopefully they should have them out in here. And we talked about tires briefly in a previous interview. The availability and sizing a little bit hard to come by now. And next year we should be seeing the fives.
Yes,
which
I was hoping that they'd shop.
I know. So if you want to try them, we can hook you up with somebody who brings them in as well. Tire Rack should start getting them pretty soon. But from what I understand, they're really going to be the tire to beat because they've taken a lot of the PSC2 shoulder. They've incorporated that now. So those bigger tread blocks on the shoulder, they're going to have in the compound. And then all the sipes on the inside now for rain to better manage that. So it should be a really, really good tire from everything that I've read and I've heard so far. So I'm also looking forward to those because like you, I happen to find myself behind the wheel of cars with way too much power and way too much weight. So yes.
Yes.
It's a thing that we do.
Right.
But very cool. So let me ask you this. From your first one lap to now, what has changed in terms of your approach to the event and what has changed in your mentality with the event?
Ooh. So
we're getting deep.
Yeah. So the approach has been more is or less is more.
Okay.
You know, the first one lap we had a pretty well modified Evo, and we struggle bust through that thing, and we went in with the typical car guy, like I'm gonna bring the biggest baddest car and I'm just gonna beat everybody. When reality, stock is almost king. Like leave it alone, keep it reliable, and some of those accoutrements like heated seats and cooling seats are really good on some of those transits. So don't try to make it a race car because the actual race car portion is probably, we'll say, an hour of each day. The rest of it is transit and talking
and waiting.
to people and waiting. Yes, and
right.
waiting. So,
right.
I tip my hat to Andy Smedegard and company for that S2000. That's a pure race car, or the Ariel Adam guys a few years ago. So my approach has been more leave it alone, keep it as it is, which I did violate this year because of with the suspension, but it was more out of necessity. I just didn't feel comfortable that it was going to make it another one lap, even though I think I fixed it. Don't know. Hindsight, probably should have left it, but so that's the approach. And then what was the second part you said?
I just say, so how has so obviously your first year you come to the event, you're not sure what to expect. You think it's going to be one thing, and then you kind of get through it. So how has that changed how you view the event? From this huge insurmountable challenge, now you've done it a few times, and now how do you look at it?
It's one lap at a time, or one track at a time. You get the skid pads are probably the only ones that I try to put some actual thought and planning into because we know that's going to be the same.
But you get lost on the skid pads
every now and then. Those circles get you dizzy.
Yeah, it's true.
But then the tracks, like if you haven't been there's nothing you can do other than study a track map. But
I will own up to it. I can't remember exactly which year it was. It may have been 2007. I did get lost on the skid pad at the turnaround point, because your adrenaline's running. It was one of my first years, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. And I went out and I would go around clockwise, and then you go around the thing, and you're really not until you're drilled on it and really have it in your head. Okay, now go this way. I just went back to going clockwise. I'm like, so I had to go around, do the turnaround, and then do it again. So
oopsie.
So it is possible to get lost going around in a circle, just so you know.
Yes.
So
there's some folks that have only done like one lap. Like they didn't wait for the checker and they automatically self-identified and went the other way.
Yep.
Pay attention.
Yep. They identified as counterclockwise. So
yes.
Yeah. That was fantastic. But that's good. Bryan, what do you got?
So you and Jesus are sort of like the one lap odd couple. How did you guys get hooked up?
Dude, we grew up together. That's how we got hooked up. We met our freshman year in high school and we were enemies. And we were enemies. Like we had a mutual friend. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. And, I remember playing basketball in PE and purposely like extra fouling Jesus and vice versa. And then somewhere we became best friends. Don't know when, don't know how it happened. It just happened. I know we were both in Boy Scouts and in the same troop at one point, and since then we've just been attached. So growing up together, he's my longest friend. We've been through a lot, obviously, since we were 14. Now we're almost, well, I'm not gonna do the math on that age, but yeah, it's a long time.
Welcome to the club, Ramathorn.
What are you talking about? You're still a baby.
Listen, just because you got your AARP card yesterday.
Oh, yes. Drinks on Bryan.
Exactly. Yeah. Mucinex, right? So anyway. So as we start to come to the conclusion here, Glucerna, Ensure. Go get your dinner.
Yes, Ensure Boost.
Go get
Ensure and Bailey shots on me.
Done.
That's actually what we should do for the older crowd, not the initiation, but anybody who's 65 or older doing this. Just give them Ensure shots. Because, and it's interesting you said before we start to get into the wrap, you do bring up a good point, and I was going to say something to this before. You said you look at this now as track by track. You started with like the biggest, baddest car. You wanted to win it outright. I have been disappointed in all the newbies this year because they are far too reasonable of an individual.
Yes.
Every single person who we've talked to has had a rational answer when I asked them this question. What are you looking to get out of the event this year? They said, I just want to finish, or I just want to have fun. Nobody has said, I'm going to win it all. And it's just, nobody's going in there with that anymore. And I don't know where we failed as a car community, but we need to have less rational thinking.
I think we just need to go back to 2017 and interview Robert.
Probably. But he even came out sort of rationally.
Yeah, he did.
He came out with a stock vehicle. Yep. He didn't come out with the biggest, but he came out with the GTR. He drove the wheels off it really well and consistently, but he approached it rationally. Then he became irrational.
Yes.
Yes, and then it went downhill.
Exactly. Like Andy started somewhat rationally with an irrational car, and then thought he got rational, but really went even further irrational. This is going to get confusing very quickly. Okay, so as we start to wrap, as we meander, obviously racing, cars cost money, things cost money. Do you have anybody supporting you this year apart from your wife and your wallet? And are you working with any charities this year?
Nope, just the family charity. The family takes care of me, right? Both sides of my family support it, and the wife really supports it. Eventually I'd like to get a charity or two going on. I know Veteran Motorsports is always looking, and that's always a great group to link up with, but no direct charities this year for me.
Awesome. So we did an interview with Vet Motorsports a couple of days ago, and that aired then. So yes, absolutely, Vet Motorsports, go check them out. And James, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of days and catching up and having a few adult beverages. And and spending a week getting to do this for a week. It's a shame we couldn't get your co-driver here, but we will harass him endlessly throughout the week.
Yes.
And of course, I'd like to thank you on behalf of us and everybody with the One Lap for everything you do for us, for our country, and for just being a really swell individual and a good friend. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to follow you throughout the week.
I'm checking Amazon to see if I can find a Vermont State Troopers hat.
If you get the hat, I'll wear it.
All right, I'm going to overnight
challenge
accepted.
I will do it. And maybe you should get one for Jesus and make his. I know he doesn't want to.
Oh no, we have to get him something better than that.
He'll be Farva.
He can be Farva.
Oh,
that's not far from truth.
I will speak on that. Jesus, will you wear the hat? Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Deal. You guys heard it.
It's on.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, and that challenge out here, because you have a challenge coin anyhow, we hold that up. Hold that bad boy up, because we both have these. There you go. You have yours readily available. There we go. That is the challenge coin. And this is the last interview before we start hitting the road. So for the 2023 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, with coverage brought to you by Hooked on Driving, we have Killer Whale Racing with James Hodges and your co-driver. We won't name him yet. Take care.
Have a good one, gents. See y'all soon.